11 News starts with severe weather Team 11 coverage.
Clear skies, but still cold for the start of this holiday weekend. Thanks for joining us and good afternoon. I'm Gordon Lesh. The weekend, though, is shaping up. Let's get right to meteorologist Jessica Faith tracking the changes now in Severe Weather Center 11.
Yeah, we had a very chilly start with temperatures in the teens and, well, the wind chill was in the teens, and now we're seeing plenty of sunshine. Those highs would get into the 40s today. We have a really nice warm up on the way as we go into the weekend. That does include Easter Sunday. I'm going to break down the details that you can expect for your Easter egg hunting coming up.
Thanks, Jessica. Breaking now for the third day this week. New COVID cases in Allegheny County jumped the 400 mark. The health department says it's learned of 441 new cases since yesterday. The county is also reporting 6 additional deaths after importing information from the state's computer system. And the CDC just announced vaccinated people can safely travel across the U.S., but must continue to take COVID safety precautions like wearing a mask in public and social distancing. If you had problems booking your second vaccine appointment with Allegheny County's health department, you are not alone. The health department says they ran into trouble sending out invitation emails. Channel 11's Alyssa Raymond takes us through what went wrong.
The Allegheny County Health Department ran into some issues with its new scheduling system. First, they ran some tests overnight and say that the new emails will be going out today. Here's the deal with some of the issues that people reported yesterday. First of all, to schedule an appointment for a second dose, you needed a code. Apparently, the sentence with that information was left out of the emails that it went out yesterday. That led to a whole bunch of confusion with people wondering, what's the code? I don't see a code. When the issue was supposedly fixed, people who received the new emails got messages saying the clinics were full or new appointments were unavailable. Appointments for first doses and pre-registration were not impacted. Now here's a look at how the county's new registration website should work. You have 4 options: first dose, second dose, reschedule an appointment, or cancel an appointment. Then you'll have to answer a few questions about eligibility. If you're eligible, you'll be able to schedule an appointment. If you're not eligible, you'll be able to pre-register, and then you'll receive a text message or an email when you are eligible. We do have a link to the county's new website on our website, WPXI.com. And if you don't have internet or if you're still having issues, you can always utilize the 211 service for help. Reporting on the North Shore, Alyssa Raymond, Channel 11 News.
Johnson & Johnson has started testing its vaccine on kids. The trial now includes teens between 12 and 17. The study will look at the vaccine safety at different dose levels in both single and double dose. The trial is enrolling participants in the United Kingdom and Spain, but will soon extend to teens in the U.S. Earlier this week, Pfizer announced that its vaccine is 100% effective in preventing COVID-19 in kids 12 to 15 years old. The FDA still has to sign off on the vaccine for children. And we learned this week the Pfizer vaccine offers a high level of protection against COVID-19. Those results showed that protection would last for at least 6 months. That's as far as they can tell for now because they only have the patients taking part in the original vaccine trial. The big question still is, will a booster shot be needed?
Our immune system may need another prompt to stay in a prepared state so that it can respond quickly.
Pfizer also says its vaccine offers protection against new variants of the virus. The U.S. is expected to hit another milestone today. 100 million Americans will have at least 1 dose of the COVID vaccines. It comes as an uptick in cases fuels fears of another nationwide surge. Our Jacqueline Fell explains health officials are warning this deadly virus is not taking the holiday weekend off.
The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is out with new guidance for families wanting to celebrate Easter amid the coronavirus pandemic. The CDC said anyone who is fully vaccinated can gather safely with other people fully vaccinated without wearing masks. But officials suggest keeping the gatherings small. Those who are not yet fully vaccinated, you're advised to stick to your own household, or if you do get together, keep the party outdoors. Wear masks and stay 6 feet apart.
To me, a mask feels like a very small price to pay to protect people's lives, to save people's lives.
More and more Americans are getting vaccinated, but new and more aggressive variants of COVID are spreading. Coronavirus infections are inching up again. The country's averaging 64,000 cases a day this week. That's well above the daily average of 55,000 infections just 2 weeks ago. In Washington, Jacqueline Fell, Channel 11 News.
The focus in the Pittsburgh Catholic Diocese is keeping everyone safe from COVID. The diocese is taking precautions, including cleaning and blocking off pews ahead of the big Easter weekend. Channel 11's Kara Sapida takes a look at everything the diocese is doing and what they want parishioners to do if they plan to attend Easter services.
This Easter weekend, churches are preparing to see some of the biggest crowds since before the pandemic. We just interviewed Bishop David Zubik here inside of St. Paul's Cathedral, and he showed us some of the social distancing measures in place, including hand sanitizing stations and bottles of hand sanitizers every few feet, plus every other pew is marked off. This as the Catholic Diocese prepares to go from 50% to 75% capacity. Volunteers inside St. Paul's Cathedral in Oakland are busy sanitizing every pew, every touched surface, in a major effort to make church as clean and safe as possible during one of the busiest holy weekends of the year.
A year ago, we weren't able to do any of this.
Bishop David Zubik remembers this time last year when churches were completely shut down. For Easter services this year, doors are open with capacity increasing to 75%. But safety is still a priority, with masks required at all times.
We've asked for is that people continue to do the social distancing, wearing of masks, and the sanitization.
The Catholic Diocese is urging people to check with their church today to find out specific plans for Easter Sunday. Make reservations for in-person services online when available to avoid the overflow room or worse, not being able to attend.
The important part of it is that people check with their parishes to make sure that they're not disappointed, that they know exactly what the arrangements are for being able to go to their particular churches.
This all comes as a recent Gallup poll shows church attendance is at an all-time low, with only 47% of Americans saying they belong to a church, synagogue, or mosque, the lowest number in 8 decades, down 3 percentage points from 2018 and 23 points from 1999. The bishop says he's entering this holy weekend filled with hope.
From my perspective, the light's at the end of the tunnel, and let's hope that there's not going to be a resurgence of the virus, but that we continue to take the steps that we need to take to keep people safe.
In Oakland, Kara Sapida, Channel 11 News.
There will be a lot of big changes statewide beginning Sunday. Restrictions will be eased across the board. Restaurants can serve alcohol even if customers didn't buy food, and customers can sit at the bar and be served. Indoor dining capacity will be raised to 75% for restaurants that are self-certified. Restaurants that do not can raise their capacity to 50%. And gyms, casinos, theaters, and malls can all increase their capacity to 75%. The Rivers Casino will increase its capacity starting Sunday. The casino floor will now hold 75% capacity, as well as their indoor dining options. Job growth skyrocketed last month. The Labor Department is reporting an increase of 916,000 jobs in March. Analysts are crediting stronger economic growth and the aggressive vaccination effort, saying both are behind companies hiring more workers. Economists had expected an increase of 675,000 jobs. The unemployment rate has now dropped to 6%. It's the first jobs report since the passing of the nearly $2 trillion relief bill. A man was rushed to the hospital after a fire in Troy Hill. That fire was sparked this morning at a home on Lowry Street. You can see firefighters used a ladder truck to get up to the second floor and break the windows to ventilate that fire. The victim was treated for minor smoke inhalation and a burn to the hand. That person is in stable condition, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. A Pittsburgh man who had not been seen since Wednesday has been found safe. There was some concern because 79-year-old Curtis Pascal uses a wheelchair, and he had not been seen since late Wednesday night on the south side. Police did not go into specifics, but they say he was found this morning and is safe. And we also want to let you know that a teenager from Washington County, Gage Frame, has been found. He is the 15-year-old who is missing from South Franklin since last week. A horrific train crash in Taiwan as the train jumped the tracks, killing more than 50 people. This video shows just how mangled that train was as it was heading into a tunnel when it derailed. Investigators say the train collided with a truck. NBC's Kier Simmons takes us through the massive rescue effort.
This is the deadliest accident in decades in Taiwan. The high-speed train derailed, as you can see from the pictures, by a tunnel. It appears to have hit a construction truck that fell onto the track. Passengers describing hearing an impact and then being thrown around. The fire department there saying that there were 350 passengers on board. So packed cars, 8 cars are on this train. Some people having to stand and being just hurled around as this impact happened. Then many were trapped. At one point, 70 described as trapped, and the rescue operation hindered by the fact that the train was inside this tunnel. Passengers having to break glass, climb onto train cars just to get out. Others calling for help. A really devastating day in Taiwan. Keir Simmons, NBC News, London.
Get a COVID shot or get fired. We're finding out if your boss is legally allowed to enforce a vaccine mandate. For now, the vaccines are not approved for kids. How an 8-year-old mistakenly got a shot.
It's still pretty chilly outside. We have a really nice warm-up on the way just in time for Easter Day. I'm going to give you all the details about this weekend coming up.
Wasn't able to get back in. He tried. He had to be restrained from going back into the house.
A local man desperate to save his pets from a fire. What the family wishes they didn't do before that fire was sparked. Smoke came pouring out of a Brackenridge home during a fire on Tuesday, and we learned the couple who owned the home lost almost everything. Today, the home is just a skeleton of what once was there. And picking up the pieces will be no easy task. The owner told our Serafina James that why this fire came at the worst possible time. They were short on cash and decided to drop their insurance.
Regina Strobel is still trying to process what happened to her childhood home.
All those memories, roof, walls, they're one thing. It's the home aspect of it that's just gone in a heartbeat.
Up until Tuesday, Strobel shared the Brackenridge home with her husband, Matt, who was home when the fire started.
He heard a pop, looked through the hallway, saw the flames, grabbed one dog, ran outside barefoot, handed the dog off. Before he can get back in to go after the other pets, it was fully engulfed.
In a matter of minutes, the couple lost everything, including fish and 5 other pets. And the cause of the fire?
The second board, the pinkish one, is where our little grill was, and that was the cause.
And to add to their pain, this couple doesn't have homeowners insurance. They dropped it to cover nursing home costs for Strobel's late father.
We dropped the homeowners insurance to help pay for his cost, his life insurance, his needs. And then just month to month, there was always something seeming to be a little bit more important, and just never got back to getting it restarted.
My first thought is, what are we going to do to help them?
Family friend Kara Finkel started a GoFundMe page for the Strobels.
We just want to do anything we can to try to ease some of the burden for them.
At last check, the online fundraiser was up to almost $7,000. And in the last day, bags of clothes, food, household items, and even temporary shelter have been donated.
It's amazing how the whole community has stepped up.
Serafina James, Channel 11 News.
The couple is still not out of the woods. They have a long way to go to rebuild their lives, and they're asking for the community's help. A GoFundMe page has been set up, and we have a link up now on WPXI.com. Work will start next week to fix a landslide by Cowley Park in Troy Hill. You can see how much work needs to be done there. The city is spending more than $1 million to regrade the slope. U.S. Steel has been hit with a violation notice over air quality standards at its Clarton works plant. According to the health department, the plant exceeded the amount of hydrogen sulfide in the air. The notice covers 25 violations from 2020 and 7 from this year. U.S. Steel could be fined up to $25,000 a day for each violation if it doesn't correct the problem in 2 weeks. A Texas father says his 8-year-old son was mistakenly vaccinated for COVID-19. The father says he thought it was okay to get his child vaccinated because he was able to register the 8-year-old and was given a registration code. It was after the boy was given the shot that the father and officials realized a mistake had been made. Officials say they plan to track down the paramedic who gave the shot and gather more information about how this mistake was made.
They're in the car, there's a code. The paramedic did what that paramedic did for thousands of others for that day, and went ahead and gave the vaccination and did not realize it was a child under the age of 18.
Moderna has begun clinical trials for the vaccine on children under the age of 12, but the vaccine has only been authorized for Americans 18 and older. According to the father, his son has experienced minor side effects like headache and fatigue. An April Fool's prank in Brussels got out of control yesterday. Anti-riot police used tear gas and a water cannon to disperse people who gathered for a joke party during Belgium's COVID-19 lockdown. The Facebook announcement for the party was intended as an April Fool's joke and promised a host of DJs, singer and producer Calvin Harris, and a reunion of the French band Daft Punk. Belgium recently entered a 3rd lockdown with groups limited to 4 people meeting outside. Skiers are getting one last run. Seven Springs Resort plans to reopen tomorrow for one last day. They say Mother Nature certainly helped, and slopes will be open from 9 to 5.
Your severe weather Team 11 forecast.
Temperatures may help as well if you're trying to go skiing. All morning we've been very cold, and now we're just now entering the afternoon. Now we're still in the 30s. We're at 34 in Pittsburgh, and it feels colder than that when you factor in the wind. Below freezing actually for Greensburg there at 30 degrees. So 30s across the board except for Somerset at 27. Yikes. And here's what I'm talking about. Factor in the strong wind we have in place today. It feels much colder. It feels like we're in the 20s for most. Feels like 24 for the wind chill in Pittsburgh. Feels like 24 Washington. Still feels like the teens Greensburg. Yikes. It feels like 18 this midday where you are. Definitely need an improvement in those temperatures, but wind gusts will continue to be around 15 to close to 20 miles per hour for much of the day, kind of backing off later tonight. But will still play a factor as we go throughout the rest of the day, even into early tomorrow morning. Now here's the wind chill. This is the important number because this is how it will feel to you when you walk outside, and it will feel like we're in the 30s for much of the afternoon. Tonight it's going to feel like we're in the 20s, so we're looking cold really for the rest of the day. At least we have the sunshine. The clear skies though help those overnight lows dip very low. It allows the things to get pretty cold, and here's the overnight lows for tonight. It's going to drop down to 25 for the actual air temperature. Washington, heads up, it's going to drop down to 19 where you are. And I mentioned those clear skies. That's all due to high pressure clearing things out, keeping things quiet, which makes for great weather for outdoor activities. This is in a very important weekend, Easter weekend. Maybe you have some plans tomorrow, or you have some plans Sunday. More than likely it's Sunday, or maybe even both. We're keeping things quiet so you'll be good to go as you go throughout your weekend. Maybe you need to do like me and wash your car. I need to. And temperatures will warm up nicely, unlike today. Temperatures starting out on the chilly side. Early afternoon pushing near 50, 53 degrees, mix of sun and clouds, more sun than clouds. Then here's Easter Sunday, looking great. Now, if you're doing your Easter egg hunting, maybe a little earlier in the day, make sure the kiddos have a nice jacket on. It's going to be on the cooler side, not too cold though. Later toward the afternoon, we're getting into the 60s, 64 degrees for the high. Check out next week. We get into near 70 on Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Jessica. Since Pennsylvania sped up the vaccine rollout, grocery store workers can finally get a shot. What local workers are saying about jumping in line. Get a COVID shot or get fired. That's what some top bosses want to happen. We find out if a vaccine mandate would even be legal. Coming up next. Some companies are trying to figure out if they can require employees to get a COVID vaccine. Many companies are debating this, but it may not be as easy as some want. Senior correspondent Blair Miller with our Washington News Bureau looked into whether companies even are allowed to require this.
The warning from the White House and health officials is clear.
We can't afford to let our guard down. We are so close. So very close.
With 16% of the country now fully vaccinated, companies are planning their back-to-work strategies. According to a poll by the Yale Chief Executive Leadership Institute, more than 70% of current or recent CEOs of major companies said they were open to requiring vaccines. In Wisconsin, the state legislature is trying to stop all employers from requiring the vaccine. The Chamber of Commerce there says that isn't helpful.
That limits our ability as employers to adapt and provide safe workspaces.
In at least 27 states, lawmakers have introduced bills that would prevent employers from requiring vaccinations. Many of those bills have been denied. But even if some companies do mandate vaccines, proving it may be another thing. According to the CDC, the employer can't force an employee to provide medical information as part of the proof.
You either didn't get the vaccine or we don't know, and we're going to treat that as the same thing.
Blair also learned some companies are offering bonus pay and extra time off for those who get the vaccine.
It's been very chilly today, but warmer temperatures are on the way. More details coming up.
I don't think people realize it's even an option.
A local woman who can't leave her home finally got her first COVID vaccine shot. Her daughter's new mission to help other people in similar situations. And only on 11, video showing a car going airborne, the damage caused by the driver who should have never been behind the wheel in the first place. A chilly start to the day, but temperatures are warming up for the holiday weekend. Let's head back over to meteorologist Jessica Faith.
Yes, still feeling like winter outside. We're in the 30s, mostly lower 30s at that, including temperatures near freezing. At the freezing mark in Indiana, 32. Greensburg, it's technically the afternoon and you are still below freezing, 30 degrees. Pittsburgh, not doing too bad, 34. Also at 34, Washington. And not getting too much warmer as we head into the afternoon. Best we'll do, near 40 degrees. Still plenty of sunshine. Now, it will feel more spring-like as we head into the weekend. I'm talking about Easter Sunday as well. Really nice. Keeping the sunshine. I'll show you all the details you need to know coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Jessica. Now to a Target 11 exclusive. This video shows an out-of-control driver going off the road right into the lawn of a local business earlier this week. And our Rick Earl found out why that driver should not have even been on the road.
Police say it could have been a lot worse. A driver, they say, lost control of his car and landed in a restaurant parking lot. The dramatic scene all captured on surveillance video obtained exclusively by Target 11. This is security camera video of the car leaving the road, going airborne over a creek, crashing through a business sign, and then landing in the parking lot of a restaurant on Route 88 in Finleyville Wednesday night just after 8. You can see another car to the right in that parking lot.
And the Dairy Queen was open at the time, right? There were people there.
It was. There was a car that had just moved up in the drive-through line just as that car came through.
So that car just got out of the way in the nick of time.
In the nick of time.
Michelle Dupree owns the Route 88 Garden Center. Her sign was wiped out by the car.
I'm just lucky one of my workers weren't right there. Yeah. I mean, we have property on both sides of the street. So, I mean, at any time, and it's a family business, so at any time, that could have been my son-in-law over there, my husband, me.
Police say the driver, 46-year-old William Weiss, told them he swerved to avoid hitting a deer, but police don't buy that. They say he was driving too fast and failed to negotiate the bend. Police say Weiss passed a field sobriety test, but they say he shouldn't have been driving in the first place. His license has been suspended for DUI. In October, he was charged by Bethel Park Police for allegedly selling heroin that led to a non-fatal overdose.
The guy goes, "Did I really do that?" He acted as if he didn't know he just drove through a sign.
Is that what he told you?
Yeah, with the police officer there. I showed both of them. I'm like, you're really lucky to be alive.
No one was hurt in the crash, and Monongahela police tell me Weiss will now likely face charges of careless and reckless driving, as well as driving with a suspended license. Rick Earl, Channel 11 News.
April is Distracted Driving Awareness Month, and just something to keep in mind when you get behind the wheel. AAA says 96% of drivers know it's dangerous to text and drive, but nearly 40% admit to still doing it. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says distracted driving killed more than 3,000 people in 2019.
I feel like the weight of the world has been lifted off my shoulders.
Earlier this week, we introduced you to Rosemary Gleason. She was desperate to get the COVID-19 vaccine for her 92-year-old mother who cannot leave her home. 48 hours after our story aired, her mother, Ida, got the shot, and Gleason is now motivated to help get the vaccine to other people in similar situations. Direct care physicians at Pittsburgh went to Gleason's home to give Ida her first dose. A doctor told us there's no organized system to connect with people who can't leave their homes, and that is creating its own challenges.
It's very much been word of mouth so far because I don't think people realize it's even an option. So once they hear from somebody else in their life who says, you know that these docs are doing this, that's how we've been able to find people.
We asked the Department of Aging about the issue, and they said they're working on it, but right now there is no timetable on when that help will come. Grocery store workers have been on the front lines of the pandemic for more than a year, and now they can finally get vaccinated. Channel 11's Jillian Hartman spoke with some grocery store workers who are thrilled to now be in line to get the vaccine.
We're glad to see that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And
grocery store workers have been on the front lines of this pandemic. Leonard Labriola, the manager of Labriola's Italian markets in Warrendale, says it was a big relief to hear Governor Wolf's announcement when he put grocery store workers on the list to get the vaccine right now.
As long as it works, I'm happy. So I think the time waited is well paid off, and the people that needed it most got it.
We spoke with Labriola back in January when they had no idea when they would be eligible.
Between going to school and working here, it's been weird that I haven't had that extra layer of protection, especially since I'm interacting with so many people here.
18-year-old Christian Farles tells me he was happy to schedule his vaccine appointment for next week.
Even though I'm behind the glass right now, usually I'm stocking the shelves, and so I'm right up with people, and I have no idea of how they're feeling, if they're sick, if they're safe.
It was pretty busy today at Labriola's as a lot of folks were getting what they need for Easter this weekend.
I think it's great. I think they have should have been able to get the vaccine a lot sooner, I think, just because of the exposure they have to everybody.
Kathy Sass shops here once a week. I did ask her if she would feel more comfortable grocery shopping knowing workers are vaccinated.
It makes me feel safer because, especially now with all the new strains that are out there, I think everyone needs protected, especially them.
So far, workers say they haven't run into any problems scheduling their vaccine appointment or finding an open slot. Jillian Hartman, Channel 11 News.
Of course, that store will continue to follow safety protocols and offer curbside pickup and contactless delivery for those still uncomfortable grocery shopping in person. Upwards of 4 million Pennsylvanians have at least one dose of the COVID vaccine, but state leaders believe that number is actually higher. They say they have no idea how many people are crossing state lines to get their shot. The state tracks how many of its vaccines go to non-Pennsylvania residents, but they can't track data in other states. Health officials say it could explain low numbers in some border counties like Beaver. Just 16% of their population is reported getting at least their first shot. Pittsburgh City Council is making changes to the temporary ban on evictions. Starting during the pandemic, I should say. City Council passed the temporary law last month, but say that implementing it has been difficult. A group representing landlords sued the city, and now Council has proposed changes to more clearly define who can be evicted and reduce the fines for landlords who violate it. They'll consider those changes Tuesday. Americans who lost their jobs last year and have already filed their tax returns will be getting a refund. The IRS will automatically recalculate their returns to account for the new stimulus tax break. That's on the first $10,200 of unemployment compensation received in 2020. Refunds will start going out next month. The provision is part of last month's $2 trillion stimulus package. If you flew out of Pittsburgh International last month, you were part of the busiest month in air travel in a year. The TSA screened more than 38 million people across the country last month. It also recorded 26 days with more than 1 million travelers. The CDC is still recommending people not travel. The agency says every time travel increases, we see a spike in COVID cases. Another sign of recovery, pilots are in demand again at United Airlines. For now, the carrier plans to hire about 300 pilots, and about 1,000 pilots have been on a voluntary leave of absence since September. The airline says it's not clear yet how many new pilots it will need. Union leaders will be in talks today at Point Park University. They want the school to reverse a decision to cut faculty members. In February, the university told 17 faculty that their contracts will not be renewed in the fall. The union says if the eliminations stand, full-time faculty will be reduced by more than 20%.
Their future looks bright, honestly.
How black business owners are trying to turn a local town into Pittsburgh's hottest new neighborhood. And petty cash. A disgruntled boss pays an ex-worker with 600 pounds of pennies covered in oil. How the worker is now getting paid back in the cash he can use. Fire ripped through 2 vacant houses in Westmoreland County last night. A photo shared by a Channel 11 viewer shows flames shooting from the houses on 3rd Avenue in Arnold. It took firefighters more than 2 hours to get this under control. A woman who said she owns both houses told our partners at the Trib no one lived in either home and the electricity was shut off in both. The cause is under investigation. The future of an outdoor project in Churchill is hanging in the balance. The Allegheny Land Trust came up short in a fundraising goal to buy the old Churchill Country Club. They're $365,000 short. The nonprofit is working on 2 grants to get the rest of the money. They need $3 million to convert the 148-acre site into a place where neighbors can enjoy the outdoors. A Georgia man who received his last paycheck in oil-soaked pennies finally gets paid in cash that he can use.
Finally getting all this taken care of. I was dreading, thinking that I'm going to have to go through hours and hours of cleaning this, and these guys have absolutely saved me.
He lives outside of Atlanta and says he quit his job over a toxic work environment. Then he says his former boss dumped the coins at his home. And it gets worse. The 600 pounds of coins arrived soaked in some type of smelly, slippery, and shiny automotive oil. Coinstar heard about the situation and they stepped in to help.
We'll take this directly to our processing partner and it'll be cleaned and counted and wrapped and recirculated.
Do you have any idea how we're going to clean it yet?
I have no idea how we're going to clean it yet.
After nearly 15 minutes of collecting the coins, he was handed 10 crisp, clean, and most importantly, oil-free $100 bills.
And our forecast this weekend looking picture perfect. We're keeping the sunshine and warming up nicely. I'll lay out the details next.
Why not make this the new Southside, the new Lawrenceville?
Dreaming big, the community where businesses are planning a major turnaround. As a business district, the East 8th Avenue area has long struggled, but now there is a revival happening in Homestead.
My friends, we were just driving through and we're like, Homestead, there's something missing over here. Why not make this the new Southside, the new Lawrenceville?
Channel 11's Michelle Newell shows us how black business owners are turning this neighborhood around.
When you walk along East 8th Avenue, it's hard to miss signs like this. Take a look across the street. For sale signs in a number of buildings here in the area, but there are a number of young business owners who are hoping to change that.
Main Street Homestead, we were the hub of the borough. We went from being a very populous avenue to when the malls opened up, it affected the boroughs, the Main Street USA, I believe.
And when COVID-19 hit, businesses felt the punch. But the future of East 8th Avenue looks bright.
Why not make this the new South Side, the new Lawrenceville? And that's when we got this building. I walked in here, I said, yep, this is the place.
Mike Reed owns Eon Bar and Grill. He opened this business in the middle of the pandemic.
One of our popular drinks here would be our Blue Long Island. This is what makes Eon right now. Our food is phenomenal.
Business is booming.
We're following the rules, and our expectations are, to have a safe environment for everyone.
Reed says guidance from the health department and liquor control board has also helped.
They're coaching me, and to be successful, you got to be able to be coached.
And right next door to Eon is this juice bar that's fairly new and Black owned. The owner here tells me he's determined to transform East 8th Avenue into the thriving place it once was.
Okay, I have the banana nut bliss smoothie. We have cold pressed juices, smoothies, and smoothie bowls.
Brett Gilliam's mission is to keep people healthy, and he only had one place in mind to do that.
There is no place I'd rather be than in Homestead. There's a renaissance going on in Homestead right now, and we're the forefront of it.
And this business that's located further down the road is set to open very soon.
It's an upscale lounge. We're opening on April 30th.
Hookah, food, and live music is what the partner of Salty says this place will offer, and it will bring more jobs to the area.
Revitalize Homestead. We're all working together, and that's what we're trying to do.
Michelle Newell, Channel 11 News.
The Heinz History Center is growing. It just bought a 4-story building on Penn Avenue in the Strip District, right behind the History Center on Smallman Street. Officials say this expansion likely will include classrooms, galleries, and a visitor orientation center. Mark your calendar. Real ID goes into effect in Pennsylvania in 6 months, beginning October 1st. You'll need the ID to fly anywhere and to get into a federal building or military base. If you don't have a real ID, you can use a passport as well. You do not need a real ID to drive or vote. You can get a real ID at any PennDOT license center.
Your severe winter Team 11 forecast.
We've been pretty quiet across the area. Lucky to see a good dose of sunshine, which is just what the doctor ordered, especially after all of the snow and the cloud cover we saw yesterday. We do have a little bit of cloud cover, though, so a good bit of breaks in the cloud cover, which means still allowing some sunshine. And this is mainly to the south of Pittsburgh, south and west there of Pittsburgh. And getting a closer look right now at any precipitation. If we look far toward the south, and if we look really close, seems to be some very tiny snow showers, and that's around Morgantown, and also a few dots there in Greene County, and that's pretty much about it. Again, looking quiet. Here's the proof right here. Looking quiet, looking good. Now, if you look closely, the camera's kind of shaking here. That's because of that northwesterly flow coming in at 16 miles per hour. So we have a very strong wind. We've had it all day, actually, and this will make that cold temperature you see right there feel even colder. We talk about this all the time, the wind chill. You may not think we would be talking about it, though, in April. Is well into spring now. Now, the spring light temperatures will be returning and warming up as we head into this weekend. And this weekend is very important. Easter weekend, especially on Sunday, where I'm sure a lot of activities will be going on. Speaking of this wind, though, very strong. Right now, the current wind speed, Indiana, 22 mile per hour winds. 17 mile per hour wind in Greensburg. Also at 16, just like Pittsburgh, is Washington. Very strong there. 16 mile per hour wind. So here's a look at your wind chill for today. Even though highs will be near 40, the wind chill will make it feel like we're right around freezing all day. Very chilly. Again, hold on to your hats because the wind will be very strong, gusting near 20 to 25 miles per hour, even though they'll be strong in the teens today. Tonight, feeling like we're in the 20s if you happen to be out and about later tonight. But warmer temperatures do come especially this weekend. Even though we're near 40 for the actual air temperature today, 56, pretty much where we should be for this time of year. Really seasonable, nice, dry. Get a bit of sunshine throughout the day for your Saturday. Really want to just make some outdoor plans, enjoy the nice, quiet, and mild conditions. Really looking good for Sunday. 64. Going into the new work week, 66 degrees. And here's that Easter forecast again. Temperatures warming up really nicely, mostly sunny. We keep it really nice as we head into the new work week. If you ever need a reason to look forward to a Monday, there it is. Mostly sunny with a high of 66 degrees.
We're getting a look at a black bear in Cecil Township. The police department posted these pictures on his Facebook page. The animal was spotted off Morganza Road in the Cherry Brook housing plan. An angry octopus lashes out at a man on Australia's southwest coast. He was walking the beach with his kid when he spotted what he thought was a stingray. The octopus took a sudden strike at him when he got closer. Oof. You can see moments later, he saw the raised imprints of the tentacles across his arm, neck, and upper back, and he poured pop over his body, and that stopped the stinging.
Hey, Lisa Robertson here with Local Steals and Deals. How would you like to have one of the most influential chemists in the beauty industry give you something no one else has? That's Beauty Stat, and Ron Robinson is the founder and the owner, and he's here with us. How you doing, Ron?
Hey, Lisa. So excited to be with you here today.
It is so good to have you here, and I know that you have been a mover and shaker in beauty for a long time, right?
That's right. I have been in the industry over 20 years. I've formulated and developed products for big brands like Clinique, Estee Lauder, Revlon, Avon, L'Oreal. But during that time, I've always been fascinated with the ingredient vitamin C. And so I created the company Beauty Stat with a mission to create the best vitamin C serum. Now, vitamin C is a great ingredient for the skin, there's no doubt, but it's notoriously unstable. We solved that problem. We have 3 patents on the ability to stabilize pure vitamin C. So in our Beauty Stat Universal C Skin Refiner, it stays pure and potent from the first drop to the last.
Wow. And if I'm sitting at home, very quickly, why is it important? What does it do for my skin when it's stable and when it's fresh?
Well, in our product, it's clinically tested and dermatologist approved to reduce the look of fine lines and wrinkles, firm and tighten skin, even out skin tone, and diminish the look of pores. It really does it all.
And very quickly, so who are some of the beauty magazines already talking about this?
Yeah, Lisa, just last week, we were so excited that Oprah Magazine named our product one of the best vitamin C serums. And Allure, Cosmo, Harper's Bazaar, Good Housekeeping, all of them have named it as one of the best. And so we're super excited to be able to bring it to consumers.
Thanks, Ron.
Thanks, Lisa.
You can get these 3 amazing ideas at localsteals.com. The exciting thing is Ron is offering this at 40% off. Just go to localsteals.com and you get great beauty.
It is opening day at Hershey Park. They'll reopen to visitors as part of their Springtime in the Park events. More than 40 rides will open, and Hershey Park characters will be out and about. The park will be open on weekends during the month of April. Health and safety guidelines will, of course, strictly be enforced. Kennywood's opening day is set for May 8th. They are in the process of hiring close to 1,500 seasonal employees. The Pirate Parrot delivered a big surprise to a nurse on opening day. The Bucks teamed up with Chevy to give her free tickets to the home opener Thursday. Throughout the pandemic, Kelsey Brentley has kept West Penn Hospital running while adapting to changing safety protocols, and she has kept a positive attitude through it all.
You know, when you do things from your heart and then you get nominated for something as an award, it just doesn't feel real. So I'm excited.
And you can tell she's excited. Brentley says it's been rewarding to see our community turn the corner in this pandemic, and she's looking forward to getting back to normal. By the way, the Pirates won Game 1 of their season yesterday. They take on the Cubs again tomorrow. America's favorite Easter candy is Reese's Mini Peanut Butter Eggs. It tops this year's Retail Me Not list. Jelly beans, Cadbury cream eggs, the chocolate bunny, and Peeps somehow round out the top 5. I have no idea how Peeps got on there. It's by accident. That's all for Channel 11 News at noon. Thanks for watching. Our next newscast is tonight at 5. Have a good weekend.